like to call the December Borough Board meeting into order, please. If we could all just rise and say the pledge. Legs in the corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everybody for attending the December board meeting. We do have two presentations tonight, one from the Department of Transportation on their Open Streets program, and the other from the Department of Sanitation regarding their snow removal, which hopefully we don't see too soon. So moving right along, just for attendance, everybody is here except for Community Board 3. If I could just entertain a motion to accept the minutes from last month, Brooke was kind enough to send them out to everybody. Can I entertain a motion? Joan first, Fred second. Please, okay, and then we'll move right into presentation. So DOT, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you for having us this evening. Victoria Carsonson, the DOT Deputy Borough Commissioner, with me I have Rakina, who is the project program manager. Pardon me. So yeah, we're gearing up for our 2026 season of our open streets. As you all know, we've been doing this for a few years now. We just kind of want to take a refresher. I believe our application is now open, so I will turn the floor over to Rakina. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for making time, adding us to the agenda. For 27 is Rakina Morgan, Program Manager for the Open Streets Program within DOT's Public Realm Unit. And so we're just going to go over the application and highlight a little bit of 2025. And so in terms of 2025, it has been the biggest open street season yet. We had more sites in general, including here in Staten Island than ever before. We usually start off our season with Car Free Earth Day in April. It's usually how we launch the open street season. And in addition, another large open street initiative we have is Trick or Streets. We had nearly 150 events over throughout the whole city, across the 5 boroughs. So one of our signature events was here in Staten Island on Staten Avenue. And we saw an extreme amount of people come out and kind of enjoy the Halloween festivities. And so this year has been successful. Looking forward to 2026. And so for those that are not necessarily familiar with the program, it allows for community organizations, faith-based organizations, academic institutions, formal and informal organizations to repurpose and kind of become stewards of the roadway and close down the street and transform it into public space for all. It allows for a range of activities ranging from economic development, supporting schools, also opens up the space for cultural programming in the community. So some of the features that are new to the 2026 application, we're expanding our resources and offerings for schools. Schools are our #1 partner. So majority of our open streets throughout the city are our schools. And so seeing how we can expand resources and supports for those partners. We also have a new concession seating guideline for those open streets that are along commercial corridors. I'm sure you guys are familiar with dining out, so in conjunction with them, thinking about how we have guidelines and regulations for commercial corridors within the program. Also changing how open streets operate along bus and truck routes. So in the past, they've been able to operate on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and holidays. In the coming year, we've changed that to become Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, so no longer on Fridays. And then the last change for this year, or this coming year, will be full closure and limited local access open streets. There's only one deadline, so at the end of January, instead of having the January deadline and the March deadline. Schools will still have 2 deadlines. We know that a lot of times changes happen, whether it's construction for the playground or things happening within the building. We just want to give some more flexibility to our school partners, so there's still 2 deadlines for them. I kind of went over this, but we try to make the program as accessible as possible, so it is something that we try to welcome all partners, all types of organizations, formal and informal community organizations. We do have partners that have daycare, so as young as you can think of, all the way through university, so all school ages. And then groups of businesses, merchants association, bids, and then civic associations, and so we do kind of spread the gamut when it comes to our organizations. We have 3 different types of open streets: limited local access, full closure, and full closure schools. For limited local access, it is designated as a pedestrian and cyclist centered space, but there's still limited vehicular access. For full closure, that vehicular access is removed and it's centered around pedestrians and cyclists. This is where you kind of see the spaces flourish. You see that outdoor dining element coming into place, a lot more activations in those spaces. And then similar to full closure, but centered on schools, are full closure schools. In terms of criteria for all 3, all of them are able to be up to 5 days a week. Full closure and limited local access can be 7 days a week. For limited local access, it cannot occur on a bus or truck route, but full closure can occur on a bus route. As I mentioned, the one change that we have when it comes to that is no more Friday bus and truck routes operations that we're allowing, but full closure is once again where you see kind of like the program blossom. Full closure schools really focused on making sure that schools have the opportunity to do outdoor learning. Many high schools do lunch. There's also pick up and drop off that kind of allows for a different type of community building for schools that are in the program. And this cannot happen on bus or truck routes. Just some examples of all 3. And so as you see, there's some limited local access. You see parked cars, but there's also cycling. There's pedestrians in the street using the roadway as public space, as opposed to, go ahead.
Last question.
Okay. As opposed to full closure, where you don't see vehicular traffic, and you'll see the outdoor dining is able to take place on full closure, along with programming and activations, still centering pedestrians and cyclists in the midst of all of that. And then for full closure schools, there's pick up and drop off, there's outdoor learning, there's recess, and there's lunch, but it really, I always like to highlight for full closure schools. Pick up and drop off all throughout the city is very transactional. You come get your kid, you leave. But when we have open streets, there is this community building aspect because people are able to linger a little bit more. There's more space, it becomes public space. We see administration engaging with parents, we see just a lot more conversation happening, and so we find that there is a different level of community building for full closure schools. So I also like to mention that. In terms of requirements for the application, there's 5 buckets that I'd like to mention, right? So it requires a site plan, a management plan, an outreach plan, 3 letters of support if you're a new partner, and a budget proposal. The only type of partner that is not required to submit a budget proposal is a school. But site plan, you're going to have to make sure that you're drawing out as much detail as you know ahead of the season, including where you plan to put your emergency access lane. Management plan, really thinking about how the operations of the open street would go, how staffing would go, and how the operations are going to be handled. Outreach plan is thinking about how communications is going to be prior to the season, right? How people are going to know that you're doing this, when it starts, and how there's going to be communication flowing throughout the season, and how you're going to get information out there, who's your point of contact, how do people know how to contact you, and then letters of support for those new partners. We want to make sure that they are, one, connected to the community, that they have some local stakeholders that they're connected to, that are in support of what they're doing, and that people know what they're doing. And then a budget proposal, just making sure that people know what they would necessarily be spending money on and how they plan to support the activations that they have. I included some examples of all of these, and I know that you guys have it printed out, and if you don't have that, I can have very well distribute representations. There's some examples of letters of support, budget proposals, and all the other items that are required for the application. The application is open. It opened at the end of October. First deadline is January 31st for full closure and limited local access open streets. That is the only deadline. In the past, we've had 2. But for schools, they are able able to apply if they'd like an open street for the spring and the summer. If they are not already in the program, they can apply January 31st. If they're applying for the next academic school year, for 26-27, they have until March 31st. In terms of partner resources and operational support, so we offer funding to our DOT partners. It is on a reimbursement basis, and we do offer funding allotments based on the size and scale of the open street. We do have an equity model that's based on our New York City DOT streets plan. And then we have operational support. We have a contract with the Horticultural Society of New York. They help with both management, operations, and horticultural support throughout the city. You see a lot of those planters all over. They help to maintain, water, and plant them. But they also help when it comes to programming, and they help when it comes to grant support. We understand that it takes money to make these things run. DOT's money's only going to get you so far. And so through our contract with the port, they have some grant support, either preparing or helping to expose partners to grants that are possible. DOT also provides the barriers, furniture, signs, cones, and kind of infrastructure pieces that are needed for the operation. Our public realm programming team really handles programming and creating those activations, especially for those initiatives like Car Free Earth Day, Trick or Streets, but also for partner events that are happening throughout the year, and other various benchmarks throughout the year, right? So Disability Month, this picture was taken during that time. We had an event for a wheelchair basketball game, so that's what this image is showing. But we work with over 100 programming partners, and that list, that's something also we can circulate. That list has just been reopened, so if there's a lot of programming or service providers that you know that you think would be great to be added to the programming list, please let us know, because that's open as well. And I believe until the end of January, they can apply for that, and potentially then become one of our partners that would activate open streets and plazas throughout the city. And then the Hort. We have a contract with them through our public space equity program. They really support all of our public spaces citywide. They handle horticultural care for more than 1,000 planters throughout the city. They do seasonal plantings, plant maintenance, and watering. And then they do a lot of our partner support, right? Program coordination, implementation, the grant and funding support that I mentioned prior. But they also handle some of our operations, setting up and breaking down barriers. We understand that different organizations have different capacity. So we try to work really hard to find ways that we can offer resources to increase that capacity and support partners. We do that through the board. And this is just a timeline for both the application and what to expect going into the approval and review. Our application's open in October. The first deadline is January 21st. Second for schools that I mentioned prior is March 31st. We go through a review process. I can go over that as well. That's not outlined in this presentation. Notification period is normally it will probably happen March and around June of 2026. And partners will normally hear if they've been approved or not by April and then July. In terms of our review process, after we get the application, we do an internal review within DOT, and we send it out to other agencies, NYPD, FKY, and others, making sure that we get their input. If we get an approval from there, they become provisionally approved, and we send out a notification letter to local elected officials and community boards for public comment. And you know, I like to mention, we do, like, we're genuine. We want public comment. We know what they put in their application. No one knows your communities better than you do. So if you have insight on the organization or the area, please let us know. And then after that 45-day period, if all is well, then they're approved. If not, if we get comment, then we go back to the partner. We kind of see how we can troubleshoot that and resolve any of those issues, and we go from there. If there are any questions, please, you know, contact us. Please feel free to contact our borough office. They can get in touch with us as well. And this last slide has the website and the application link, and also the email for the program. And that wraps the presentation. Thank you, guys.
Can I just have a quick question?
Absolutely.
So funding, like what kind of aspects, like what's something that someone can apply for funding for? Like what type of programming or what?
So it follows, like we think of funding in terms of like 3 buckets. So there's staffing and management, there's operations, and then there's programming. And so any type of program that's on the open street is eligible for the most part for reimbursement. We have an allotment at the beginning of the season, like before you're approved. When you're approved, you'll find out exactly what that amount is. And then if it falls within those buckets, then for the most part, it's eligible for funding. There are some permitted and unpermitted items or expenses, and we do share that at the beginning of the season, so partners know ahead of time what, they can expense, and what they cannot.
And other members have questions? Elena, did you have something?
Well, it was interesting, and the street that you illustrated, that open street plan, there was a bike lane, and then there were bikes in the pedestrian lane. I mean, to me, I can easily dodge a bike, but I felt it might not be compatible to full access for maybe seniors or people who are disabled, and I'm surprised that it's equally.
So I will say, different open streets operate differently. So there's some that are more passive, right? So we know that there is not gonna be a crowd of people. People are able to kind of navigate what's happening in the street a lot easier. That was what you were seeing on that. Limited local access streets tend to be more like that, because there's more activity. There's not gonna be a lot of activations. When it comes to, let's say, I'm gonna go back and select an example. So like, things are moving a lot slower on limited local access, but I understand what you mean, absolutely, I get it.
When I'm on my
Yeah, I
bike,
just see
for-
like if it's like, the one like with the kids playing, like if there's a bike
Exactly.
zooming through, especially like an e-bike, that's like,
I was gonna ask
And
about
I'm not-
motorized bikes as
And
well.
for mopeds, scooters, it's a challenge that we are working through
So
citywide.
it just seems like
Um,
not a compatible thing for pedestrians.
So, in open streets that have more activity, so let's say like this, we expect the bike lane, and there's bike lanes on both sides of the street. It's not active,
But
they're
there are
on this
people
side.
playing, there are people sitting there.
Yeah, like
Right.
I can see that
But
woman
you
being
can't-
taken out.
In
by,
this,
like, all-
in this image, you can't see the active bike lane. When the open street is active, this bike lane is actually not active. The bike lane on the other side of the street, which is out of view, is the one that's active. So they're able to go through that. The barrier is actually blocking the bike lane on this side, so there wouldn't be any.
Oh, okay, I do see it in the back now that you said that.
Yeah,
I do see
so-
it.
So depending on how the street is used, we accommodate bikes differently. And there's, we provide different infrastructural pieces, whether it's cones, more barriers, in order to create more of a guide for bikes if we know that that's gonna be an issue. So we're thoughtful when it comes to this and how things are moving. Like I said, the image that you saw, very slow moving, that open street is very passive. And so we find that it's not as problematic there, but somewhere like here, it has to be explicitly delineated where bikes are gonna go.
And no motorized bikes.
Yeah, I mean, they go through. We're not gonna pretend like they don't, but they should be going through that bike lane. That's delineated on the other side that you're not able to see in this picture.
The rest of the street will be totally barricaded except for the bike lane if someone with a motorized bike. The reason why I ask that because you get all these crazies like to run people down with their cars.
Absolutely.
What kind of barriers are they gonna be, plastic or more substantial?
No, the barriers that we provided, the French barriers, is the same manufacturer that NYPD uses, so those metal
Oh,
barriers.
okay.
And so when you put in a request for barriers, you let us know the amount that you need. When you apply, we have a conversation, I have a conversation with you thinking about how you can lay out the street, what's successful, what's not. And that gives you an idea of how you should be able to design the space to activate it in the way that you think is best.
Anybody else?
Are there other streets? I know that Castleton Avenue was included in there, but last year, I'm just trying to think of what streets are good applicants. How many Staten Island streets participated last year?
9.
9, okay.
Yeah, we're always looking for more,
Yeah.
always looking for more.
Yeah, one was on the side of Brioso's, and you
That was like the premier.
Yeah.
Right, Front Street, I think, had a limited sign,
We did
right?
it through
Yeah.
with our,
Yeah.
we did it one time, yeah.
Yeah, there were like a few programmed weekends. And then on the South Shore, I think there's one, school open street. I think it's PS5.
Okay.
But on the South Shore, we're definitely looking to do more, so please.
How does it work for like a school area? I would presume that like if there's like houses across the street, that's probably a no-go, right?
It's not necessarily a no-go, that's why the outreach plan is extremely important. Like if we see driveways, if we see residents, we make sure that the school is communicated. If we ask for letters, we actually ask for letters of support from those with driveways.
Yeah.
To make sure that at the very least, they know what's going on, we can see that they're aware, we can get their input. And so it works if communication is good from the jump.
And I think I know what Brandon is asking is, people wouldn't have access to their homes because there were no cars, it's limited access, bikes and pedestrians.
So a key to, especially for schools, and when it comes to communication, because this happens a lot, both Staten Island and Queens, is that, number one, it's a part of the operations plan, right? So we have to let homeowners have access to their homes. If, a lot of times, the closures are happening when people are not coming in and out, majority of the time. And those that are coming in and out, usually they have a schedule. So knowing what those schedules are, having a plan.
You mean homeowner's schedule?
Exactly, right? And so they're like having a plan, but also knowing your neighbors. Like they should be able to have a contact in the school. We should have a plan if we see a car coming, okay, there's a signal for the kids to come out of the street in a safe way, for people to get into their homes and for us to continue.
Right,
So it's all part of
presume it would be
the
like similar to kind of like a block party. Everyone kind of is on the
Exactly.
same page and hopefully would sign off on it first.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else? Thank you very much for coming, we appreciate it. If you'd like, you can leave, or if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, it's up to you.
I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, so moving right along, next up, we have the Department of Sanitation. The floor is yours.
Okay, just need to switch out the screen. Oh.
It has exactly
It explodes and could have said that you can't use it.
Oh my God.
No, he's in.
Things are different here on the island. I don't know how you operate.
Sure is, boy, you gotta be careful.
Have a good night. Thank you. I don't know if this still works for a PDF.
Yeah, it will. I'm just like losing my mind at getting the full page.
What about the all tools, the X?
The one on the bottom right,
I
the
think
third
you were
one
just
up.
hovering on it, you were just.
The next one, yeah, which one?
Yeah.
That one right there. Seven,
Full screen one at the bottom.
yeah, go back.
Too quick?
I know.
Beautiful.
Good job, Brooks.
Teamwork. Otherwise, I just have to leave. Okay, so hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marissa Yanni. I'm a community affairs liaison with the Department of Sanitation. Here just to chat a little bit about winter weather planning. I think you all have the printout yourselves so you can all follow along. I also brought some flyers, which I'll get to talk about, but about emergency snow laborers. You can register now. Hopefully we won't have that much snow, but I do love snow, so I don't really know. Okay, let's see if we, yes, it does work. Okay, of course. So I'm gonna look at mine as well, so I don't miss anything. So obviously, we all know, Department of Sanitation, we get rid of the snow and the ice, right? Everyone I hope knows that. All through every single roadway, over 10,000 miles of roadways in New York City, all 5 boroughs. So this is just talk a little bit about our staffing plan. Obviously, DSNY, we have 3 shifts, but during snow operations, we transitioned into 2 12-hour shifts, so that we have less kind of time of switching personnel. That does take time. This year, we have about 50% more plows on the road since we did in 2022. We're pretty excited about that. Plowing equity, every road and street is considered the same. It's on one route. Nobody is more important than another, all the roads are considered the exact same thing. And of course, establishing ways to track our vehicles as well. Just some fun highlights. Okay, of course, so we prep for snow all year round. We start similar to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The day after, we start planning for the next year. Just thinking about ways that we can review the plans that we've done in the past, monitoring weather forecasts, of course, 24/7. We have about 2,000 plus plows on the street. We have over 700 salt spreaders and 700 million pounds of salt that we put out. You can see one of our spreaders on the roadway there. This is just what we do when it snows. If it's less than 2 inches or barely a trace, we're going to do just a little bit of spreader action. It's not going to be too much, especially on roads that maybe have more icy conditions than others. So we're not in full spreader plan even. We put out 700 pieces of spreading equipment. We have more than 2 inches of snow that we're actually going to get the spreaders out, and we can get the plows out as well. Because this is where a plow cannot actually, if it's less than 2 inches, the plow is not going to do anything because it's raised 2 inches above the street, which I always find fun. That doesn't go away. If there's 4 inches or more, we're starting to get in trouble. We're going to have full spreader and full plow coverage citywide, and that's when we start deploying our emergency snow laborers. And please, if you know anybody that's 18-year-old, if you want to put them to work, please have them register with us. If there's 8 inches or more, we are in true trouble. We're going to have melting and snowballing operations, and I'm just going to be living in the office. So do look for me when that does happen. That's when you can call me right now. 8 inches or more, actually, I don't know what I would go to cry. That's a lot. Talking about brining, which is one of the newer tactics we've been using the last couple of years. It prevents snow and ice from sticking on roadways. It's pretty helpful on overpasses, hills, highway ramps, bus lanes, all things we find on the islands. We deploy that a day or 2 days in advance, and it doesn't work if it starts out as rain. So if it's a rain first storm, the brine is useless, but we'll probably put it out anyway. Salt, of course, we all know what salt does. It melts the snow and ice. We're going to prevent accumulation, and we're going to have some traction. We always use that first. The first kind of drop of precipitation, we're going to have the spreaders out. Plows, as we know, are used when there's 2 inches or more in order not to trip, which I think of like a transformer tripping. When I think of a plow tripping. That's why it's slightly raised off the street. And as you know, we're always going to plow to the right. That's never going to change, in case anyone's curious. So after the storm, when the storm is fully over, and again, we'll see what we get this year. When it's fully over, that's when we're going to start looking at streets. If it's a lot of snow, we'll use front end loaders. I've been working here for, next week will be 6 years, and I don't think I've ever seen us really use front end loaders. I don't think it's like, has not been such a huge amount of snow, right? Like it hasn't, we haven't gotten the 12 inches that Buffalo gets, but we're not getting anything like that. So that's when we'll be using the snow melters, and we'll be using front end loaders to move snow out of the way, and I can talk about in a second where we do that in Staten Island specifically. That's when we're going to start having sanitation crews and our emergency snow shovelers. They're going to do bus stops, crosswalks in front of any other pedestrian kind of infrastructure, and that's when we're also going to get to our, what do they call it, bike lanes. Sorry for that for a second. Sorry, DOT. And using our snow shovelers, getting rid of, we have small equipment that can actually go into the bike lanes, which is very helpful. Plow NYC, that's been around for a bit, that you can actually see what time your street was plowed, when it will be plowed next, how often it's been plowed. You can just go on there, you can get a full map like this that you see on the screen there in front of you, and you can put in an address and kind of zoom right into your house, just to see how often we've been spraying. It should be updated about every 15 minutes. And we have people literally sitting in the room, actually, you can see that. We have folks just sitting there in Command Central, it's adorable, up in operations, watching all the snow, just seeing where every single truck is in the whole city, and every single superintendent and supervisor, they're updating and reporting back. Well, the borough chiefs, everybody's on top of that, making sure we follow all of them. And that's what we're using. This is a newer kind of model we've been using since 2023 is Blade Runner. It's just the GPS system. That's how we track spreaders, plows, the brine trucks, not sanitation workers themselves. We should start tracking them, and then we'll see exactly where they are as well. You'll see where we're putting some key features using Google Map integrations. We actually see where we are. GPS data would increase time windows. Just a lot of major improvements. Visual layer data. These are all things I don't actually do in the office, but you get an idea of what it's for. right? If anyone does have a real question about that, I will obviously make sure I get the answer for you. I'm not trying to be rude, I just don't want to lie to you about what this. Then, of course, I need property owners to do their fair share. I need them to do a lot of things, like removing snow and ice from the sidewalk in front of their whole property. I'm someone that lives on a corner, so I do not stop at the 2 inches in front of my home. I have to go around and down the side and do the driveway, so I need everybody to do that too. And almost everybody in Staten Island has a driveway. So everyone has to get the front of that area as well. Don't just stop at your front door. So depending on when the snow actually ends, from 7, stops between 7 a.m. and 5, you got 4 hours to clean that up. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., you got 14 hours. 9 p.m. to 7 a.m., you gotta clear it by 11 a.m. So that's when we can start giving tickets. If I see what time it ends, that's when it opens up on 311. That's where you can start making those reports of any of those conditions. That's when I start getting the photos emailed to me. That's when we're gonna start telling on each other. So do keep that in mind for any of your neighbors, or just for yourself, so you don't have to pay as much as $250. Last year, we issued over 14,000 summonses for failure to clear snow and ice, which is fun, but it is a lot. Just want to give one quick update. This is not in there because we have one for each borough. As you know you have 3 garages here, right? We have Jersey Street, which I think has moved already. It has moved already. This was given to me. Well, let's say we got 1 plow in there still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we got 1 plow with Jersey Street. You know Richmond Avenue, you know West Service Road for SI3. Just to give you an idea, does that number? Okay. You know you have 1 superintendent in each borough. You have supervisors, 14 at SI1, 12 at SI2. SI3 isn't here, right? Okay, so I don't have to tell them. Sanitation workers, you have 194 at SI1, 190 at SI2. And then you have a lot of equipment as well through all of the boroughs. 1 second. We have, who here is from SI1? First one. Okay. You got 22 spreaders. You have 9 holsters. You got 79 plowable trucks. You got 13 front end loaders, which is pretty exciting. You have 22 spreaders in SI2. You have 7 holsters. You can steal one from SI1.
Come on, Joe.
Oh my goodness! And you have 64 plowable trucks. If you have any other questions, this is also all on our website. This snow plan, this is totally available for everybody. And is there anything else I wanted to tell you? If we do have a crop ton of snow and we need to melt it, there's 2 locations, Jersey and Bank Street, and then of course at Father Capitano at parking lot 8 on Father Capitano and Hunter Avenue. So that's where, if we really have to melt snow, we're going to bring it all there, and that's when we're going to use those snow melters to melt it. Okay, that is all from me. Does anyone have any questions? Anything I need to go over? I know I talk really fast. Yes, I'm perfect.
I couldn't help
She's too much.
but be alarmed by the
Oh, no.
for $250. So
Yeah.
the councilman has a program, snow shovelers for seniors, and we don't get as many volunteers as we'd like. And if a senior is at home and there isn't really anybody willing to do the shoveling and somebody does get a fine, do we have the ability to fine for them?
They have ability to contest the ticket with oath afterwards.
Oh, that's,
So that is annoying. Yes, that is incredibly annoying. I do understand that. As per my law and what I've been told, I cannot say, oh no, it's a senior, don't worry about it. Because a supervisor or enforcement agent won't know that, even if they know the block. They don't know that. I can't say, because that could be a day her son is visiting and he actually could help that one, let's say. But I can't look at a house and go, an old person lives here. And I can't then move on to the next house and just assume that someone is a senior there. Of course, if your office, if we have a lot of snow and your office reaches out to me, I'm happy to chat with you. We can chat with the superintendent of the district and where this block is. I'm always happy to work with you. I don't really want to give tickets to seniors, but if when that timeline hits and the supervisors are out on the street and they see a strip of really snowy and icy condition on this one part of the block, everyone else did it, you know, then
As that is, they get the most.
it's,
The
yes,
other thing
I
is,
understand
too, in
that.
the past, we've gotten a lot of complaints, and I know that we've gotten, because it's happened to people that I know, that they've done their walk, but maybe like their sidewalk is kind of low-lying, and sanitation comes over and pushes.
Pushes it right back.
Yeah.
What do we do in situations like that? Do they get a pass?
Get the shovel back out, do it again.
Yeah, but can't sanitation be more mindful? I'm not trying to, but like, if someone goes and gets like, I'm gonna take for granted it happened to my mother once. It wasn't worth me for me to just, but my mother has a corner property, and it's 200 by 50, I think, and she pays somebody, we pay somebody to do it, so to have somebody come out, now you're talking about a financial hardship,
Mhm.
she did her requirement and everything like that, and I have to tell you, her curbs aren't even that low lying, I don't know how the hell they even managed this, but for some reason, they just seem to love her property, because one time they went through her stone wall, and we had to sue the city.
I have to apologize for that, that is. Okay, so when they're making that turn, we're just keep pushing it more and more onto the sidewalk, which she then has to clean. I understand that, that is not, again, that, I have corner property, I totally understand that, that is not fun at all. I go back out there and clean it again, I do work, you're not gonna get a pass, I will say that, I've never been told that. If you send it to me, I'm happy to send it up to my legal department and ask. But as the base answer, because you're filming, base answer, I cannot. There are no passes, there's no exemptions, you gotta show on the sidewalk.
I mean, like I said, it's not really an exemption, because you've already done
That
your
is true.
civic duty.
Yes, that is true, that is true. But if I'm coming 3 days later, let's say, and it's the same condition,
Oh, no,
that's a problem.
that's a different story.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, if it was done like that day or whatever, because like I said, I know because I paid the guy across the street and
Yeah.
I've seen it done, and, like I said, and then suddenly there was snow on it like a few hours later, and I was like, you know, number one, I do pay the guy across the street, but he does have a life, like, you know.
Yeah, he can't come whenever he wants.
He can't come, you know, at my beck and call and everything,
Of
you know.
course.
He has to do his own walking and everything like that, and, you know, his landlord actually, he's a renter, and so his landlord pays him, and then, like I said, I pay him and everything, so is, like I said, and then, like I said, sanitation just seems to love her property or whatever, because they were going down the street the wrong way.
Feel
When
free
they-
to email me the address, and I will chat with the district.
Okay, I mean, like I said, when they drove into her wall, that was years ago, it was probably like 15 years ago.
Oh, okay, no, I
But-
definitely wasn't
yeah.
looking at it.
And they were, but like I said, they were coming down North Railroad the opposite direction. And then they went through the stop sign that was existing there, although they probably couldn't see it because they were going the wrong way. And then when they went to avoid the person who was in the right of way, then they crashed through the wall.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we have our local contacts, but
Okay.
so we
Does
just.
anybody else?
Oh, yeah, if you have
council
your,
members,
if
do you have
you
any,
know the superintendent, press
questions?
that one, you
I just
use
want
that.
to piggyback off of what you just said. In theory, which I understand.
We went to your stone wall as well. I'm joking.
I'm just
Through the
curious,
house.
so like, if someone does hire someone in theory to come out there, and it seems like more snow comes back on the sidewalk, it's pushed back onto the sidewalk. In theory, like if someone takes a picture of it being done, you just showed us those like time frames of like, when is your civic duty? So like,
Yeah.
can someone like take a picture and say, hey, this was done at this timestamp?
Of course.
And if they happen to get a ticket,
Yes, use
that's
that.
their,
Yes, it's annoying to contest the ticket, I totally agree with that.
Oh, it's terrible.
But yes, use that, by all means, use it. Use Plow NYC, take a screenshot of when the plow came by, take a picture with the timestamp of your sidewalk, 100%, do all of that.
yeah.
Do all of that all the time, yes. I won't be mad. I'll give up the money, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, there's no way of telling for you guys how many times that actually does happen and how many people win in that case, but I would be curious to know how often that's actually helpful for them.
From what I've been told, oath dismisses many DSMY summonses.
I haven't heard that.
But I don't know, if you don't repeat it all the time, but yes, they
Yeah.
do, they dismiss that.
Yeah.
The oath works great once you get into the system. No, it does. The oath actually dismisses a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm happy to hear
You
that.
know, even when there's a regular garbage violation,
Yeah,
and, I always talk to oath, and they're very good at that. They really are.
I'm happy to hear
Yeah, so I'm waiting to, the conversation I wanted to divert into another conversation that I can ask questions about, which are coming up big and hard.
that. About, for me,
Bins,
what bins, which bins? Which bins?
the garbage bins, the new letter that went out to everybody.
The NYC bins, the one that you have to buy by June
Yeah.
21st.
Yeah.
June 1st, sorry. Not June 21st.
June.
By June 1st. Okay, what about?
I'm getting a lot of calls.
Okay.
From people who are, well, you've got disabled, you've got seniors, And, have any tried to use that flyer?
What do you mean use it?
There is no website that is on there that exists. There are 2 websites on there, neither one of them exists. And,
Well, that's only recently. That's-
well, I don't know, but I've tried it. This is the letter that has the voucher number on it for everybody to go with the voucher.
Right, from Department of
So-
Finance, yes.
And a lot of people said, wow, great, so we're gonna order it online. This is terrific. And they give you detailed instructions
Yeah,
about ordering online and ordering at Home Depot,
yeah.
which is great if you can order it online for people who can't get out.
You can only go to Home Depot in person.
Now, because I spoke to somebody here, now, but the letter, the flyer specifically says that you can order online.
Yes, you're correct.
Specifically, right.
Yes.
And so we're trying in the office, I told Mike and Linda, I said, let's try and see what's happening. It's the most frustrating
Yes.
thing that I have been through trying to,
Because I don't think they really want to pay for it.
well.
They don't like the legislation.
That's the problem with
and they don't
finance,
wanna-
that's another story.
Yeah.
That's COF. But so I called and I said, what happens now when you have seniors living alone? They don't have family around here, their family lives in California or someplace else. Are they gonna go to Home Depot and that heavy thing in their little car that they can't even carry? Well, maybe someone at Home Depot will help them, and how do they get it home and in their house? That's not a light bin. How does this happen? Nobody has an answer.
I have an answer. I can't tell you the answer, because you're recording.
No,
So-
I'm good. Well, if I call you tomorrow, can you?
Yes.
bring me in? Exactly.
You're more than welcome to
Yeah.
call me
I can
tomorrow.
say
Yeah,
this,
because,
You're
and,
more than welcome to call me
Joan,
tomorrow.
Home Depot delivers.
no, they don't. No, they will not deliver bins.
Oh, I'm
They
so
will not
sorry.
deliver bins. Let's get that
Okay.
straight. Yeah, it's terrible. So Home Depot has gotten a great contract from the city of New York. And that's the family homes, the other stuff too. Anyway, I'm not gonna go that
See, I'm
deep.
not allowed to say
Yeah.
any of that.
But
But
they,
yes, Otto, they have the contract with Home Depot to
Yeah.
have it in person, and then
That's
their
it.
website and phone number, you
Yeah.
can order.
I gave out contracts for a long time to the state and city of New York, so I found that out. There's a big
100%.
contract that Home Depot has, and they made up the terms. They don't give a shit about the seniors and the people who have to do this. So I said, so they said, no, you just have to keep using these bins. So I said, oh, that means that they don't have to worry about the deadline in June. He said, no, you have to worry about the deadline. All right, there's no answer. Now there still is no answer. And I said it because originally there was a statement being made for seniors and handicapped people, that they can fill out forms online, their family or somebody can help them.
Yes.
A lot of them don't have it. And they get exempted. It's an exemption, and there is no such thing. That doesn't exist.
The form exists.
The form,
To try to
I've
be
seen,
accepted.
I have
yes.
seen the form.
Will it be
Also,
approved? I cannot answer.
no, it won't, because you know why? It will only take severely catastrophic injuries. And then you still don't get it. There's a whole bunch of things you have to do to go through it. And I have, in the North Shore, we have a lot of people who live alone, who are seniors, and who can't afford even a bin. So the free bin, now what happens when you go to Home Depot and these people try to get it, and then they can't get the money back? This is what we're hearing now too.
No, they can get the money back from the Department of Finance.
I know somebody who got it back. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that they should
So-
be getting. Getting the bin itself. I
Getting the
understand
bin
the problem.
itself, and it's taking over my office right now, and it's sad. I really empathize, because I'm thinking, how do they do this? It's just like when they shut down the senior program they had before with Jessica Tisch. Wow, this was the best program sanitation ever had. You make a phone call, even if you're a son or a daughter, you make a phone call, and we used to do this in Bay Ridge all the time when I was working there. And they come, they give you an appointment. Gave you an appointment, they would come, they would say, just if you get somebody, just put it by the curb, and they usually get a neighbor or somebody, because we were helping them out. And they will make an appointment, they will be there, and they do, and they did, not now, on time.
That's for the e-waste?
To pick up e-waste, yes, so they don't have to go to these yards or do anything like that.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden,
and we lost the funding for that, yeah.
but listen,
Yes.
I did funding for the city of New York, so I know where the funding can go and how it works. So a lot of it to me, that's why I get really frustrated, because I know how this stuff works. And Marie can tell you, I know how this stuff works. So I'm trying to, and figure out how, you know, 'cause every step they take, even when it comes to the handicap, and it's not working, it's not there. So it's like the whole flyer is one line, one big, I'm not saying, I'm not
It
accusing
wasn't
anybody.
live like a few weeks ago.
When it was sent out, obviously, maybe it worked.
It did work, yes. When it originally went out a couple of months ago, yes,
Right.
it did work.
Yeah, and then,
Do you know what the problem is with it? Or-
it's
I
October.
do, yes.
It went out October 25th was the first time it went out. So, and allegedly, it worked, you're saying.
It did.
It's fine,
It did.
I believe
Yes.
you. And,
Is someone working on fixing it?
well,
Yes.
I heard that's not true.
No, of course we're working on fixing it. Yes,
They're supposed to be working on a new website or a new,
yes, we are working.
hopefully before June 2026.
I am hoping for that as well. I'm hoping by the end of the year.
This is what, you know, and then it has to get out, sent out again to all the people who have Star. You understand
Yes.
that? You have to be
Star
in this,
or E-Star.
and I always ask people when they call me, are you in the Star program?
Right, because if
It's
they're
only
not,
for
then they
people
can't
who
pay.
are in the STAR program,
Right,
and it's been very frustrating. And you know, it's hard to talk to these people who cry.
yeah,
You know, I'm gonna get a lot of violations, I can't afford these violations, they're gonna be big violations. A lot of people got warning with the recycling bins. When
yeah.
they weren't out, the date, the same day, or the
Mhm.
week before, people were getting warnings. And then that date, they meant that, you remember the whole violation thing that went through, now there's no violations.
Mhm.
But they're saying for the bins, there will be. And-
Yes, there will be.
Exactly. So if you could bring that back
Yes,
and help, I'll call you tomorrow and I'll give you
Yes.
all the information, and my information too, you know, to help us deal with this.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we have a, you know, a lot to do, and this is becoming, I'm paying a lot of attention to it, 'cause I feel for them, I really
Yeah.
do.
Without a doubt. I agree, without a doubt. I wish I could give you a better answer.
I know, and I understand, and you look like a very sweet, I always didn't want to hit you with this.
No,
Oh, girl.
I know, it's very annoying, I agree.
It is.
100%. Very
It's
annoying.
really, and when you read, there's some people you reach that don't want to deal with it. No,
Oh, yeah, I want to deal with it. I
and
just wish I could give you a
CSM1.
better answer.
Who say, well, that's the way it is. Oh, no, I don't want to accept that's the way it is. You don't know me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
accept that's the way it is, because I've solved problems my whole life. And
Right.
that's not the way it is.
It's not the way it's not.
She could tell you because her boss and I are the same way. We fight for this stuff.
Without a doubt.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I make just one?
You always can, yes.
The reason I was late, I was on the phone with somebody who was having a problem with the pickup that was missed on Monday.
Okay,
The entire block left their trash out.
okay.
She said she had a picture of it, and everyone received a violation because they thought that eventually
Right.
their trash would be picked up.
Okay,
And I told them, please call our office first, we'll handle it.
yeah,
But everyone on Clausen Street in Newdorf received violations.
okay.
And I have a feeling we're gonna get calls tomorrow. So there is nothing, can we promise anything?
What day is there, I'm gonna give you my card one second. What day is there?
Sunday, I think Clausen is, right?
Yes, so they left.
Sunday for Monday.
Okay,
I think
they
that's
put it on
Sunday
Sunday for
night.
Monday, oh, it's Wednesday now, was it collected yet?
No.
Okay,
They found everyone received violations.
so whenever there is a miscollection, anytime, the next morning, because we have the full day to pick it up, the next morning they should submit a 311 for miscollection. That will help moving forward. Do you mind passing my card out there, please? Thanks. Anyone else can take a photo of it, if you need it. It's for everybody, please do. They should always submit a 311 for that. Please email me that, if their garbage still hasn't been picked up, I don't know when the next day is, probably soon.
It's probably tonight, to put out for Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, do let me know tomorrow or Friday if it still wasn't picked up.
Okay.
And just give me one of the addresses so I can look up what district it is, and then I will reach out to the superintendent and the chief. And just see what, because there was no holiday, I was off on Monday, but nobody else was, sorry, I took the day off, but.
Which community board is that in?
Two. It's right by
I
me.
miss you.
Oh, good morning.
It's
we
right
doing
by
over
me,
here?
but I know Clausen goes a day before me for some reason, I don't know why.
Okay,
Like the cross streets, the streets going, so the air, so, you know, they're not
To
actually.
Newdorf.
Yeah, to New York Lane, that goes, so those streets are for some reason, like mine is Monday and Thursday for the next day, but Clausen for some reason is the day before. Because my friend lives right around the corner, and she puts out, we're literally like not even like a half a block away from each other,
Right.
but she puts out the day before me.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so you let me know if nobody picks up that garbage, and just email me, and then we'll get it picked up and make sure, and they all got tickets already, you said?
Yeah.
And they all got tickets? Okay, okay. Next time, everyone needs to make sure they file 311 so they can fight that ticket, but let's see what else we can find out about why that happened. If there was some sort of operational change, but we didn't get it the next day, which is very bizarre. We would have gotten it the next day.
And that's what everybody expected.
Yes,
So
I would have
if it's
expected that too.
Still there, let's leave it, it'll.
Yeah, I would
it'll
have
come
loved it
overnight.
too. Now it looks like they put it out 6 days ahead of time. Okay, I will send me that and I'll check on that for you.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
happy.
Thank
Make
you.
sure they keep a record of their 311 number.
Yes, always a record of 311 number, correct, after when they do ever file one for the future, that way I can check it out. There's always notes, for those that may not know, there's notes on the agency side that I can look up. I don't want to give away DOT. DOT can't do that, but I can. They have no extra information, but I can do that. And if I see something noted in there that's like, oh, we did see it, or we got it the next day, then at least I can check that for you and let you know. Because it's just garbage, so I don't mind telling you.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Anybody else?
I have a quick question
Okay.
for you.
Sure.
Are the sanitation going to consider any other type of chemical besides rock salt to melt the ice? Because you know what it does to the streets, and she's gotta get the pothole brigade in the springtime to fill in all the damaged streets.
No, that's,
Just thought I'd ask.
that is a crazy thing to say about my rock salt. How dare you? No, at the moment I have not been told that we're using anything new. We have so much, millions of pounds of it, so it doesn't, we gotta use that up first. Doesn't say, no, we're gonna get rid of it by putting it in the street.
Yeah,
We're gonna get rid of
okay.
it, you're gonna get more of it. No, I have not been told that that's changing. That would be a huge press conference when we do that. But I'll bring it upstairs to operations and I'll let everyone know that you would like us to change it.
Yeah, come here.
Yeah, I will.
Good.
That's not, that's not a problem. I will check, but as of right now, no, we're not changing that at all.
I don't want to tell you.
It's a lot, it does really well for us otherwise. I mean, yeah, it melts. the stuff.
Victoria, how old does it do?
I'm not saying what it does to the streets, no one's saying what it does to the
It's
streets.
freeze thaw, it's salt, it's heavier cars, it's,
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
emissions,
Yeah.
heat from trucks, it's a lot.
Right, you got a lot of trucks here.
Oh, you got that now.
Don't start with the trucks.
Thank you.
Okay, one second. Anything else, my friends and stuff?
The rest is with DOT, but I'll do that separately.
That's so sorry, that's fantastic.
Okay,
Is that
are we
okay?
good?
We're good.
Yes.
All right, thanks so much,
All right.
everyone, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, anytime.
Very good. All right, moving right in to, moving right along on the agenda, we did not have any correspondence. Does anybody have any? Because my friend that lives on Clawson, I just texted her to see if she was included in that, when Elena had said that this will, because she lives in that area or whatever, like, that's why I guess I must have hit the mic and it was recording what I was saying. Okay, so we did not have any correspondence. Does anybody have any old business to bring up? Does anybody have any new business to bring up? Can I entertain a motion to adjourn, please? Fred first. Can I have a second? Joni, thank you. Okay. Motion is adjourned, meeting is adjourned.